Well, hello guys. How's it going? Um, Back again for another horror hangout. Like I said, I'm trying to do this every day. Try to do it at do it everything, make it an everyday thing. I'm just gonna be try. Like I said, I'm gonna try to do this every single day of the week. Um, but it's not really guaranteed. So I'm gonna try my best. But I'm back again. Welcome back to another edition of horror hangout slash slasher hangout, whatever you want to call it. Um, we are live right now and gonna wait for some people to pop in here. But for right now, I think I'm gonna talk about 1 minute here. Um, so I think I want to talk about um, Scream again because that's basically what my channel is based off of. And you guys can see I'm wearing the sunglasses. You know what I'm saying? But um, so I'm gonna talk about Scream a little bit again because there's a lot of interesting stuff that has come out. But I think a lot of these articles are not real. I think a lot of them are fake. To be honest, um, I definitely think that Scream. This is my theory. I don't think that we're gonna get Scream 7 until 2025. That's just my opinion. I think we're gonna have to wait until 2025, to get it because all these articles saying that that basically Radio Silence has already started filming it and all that. I don't believe that because Radio Silence hasn't even came out um, and said anything about it yet. So they haven't came out and gave us any news. So therefore, I don't think it's real. I don't think I think a lot of that is just fake articles. But so yeah, that's just my theory. I think that we're gonna have to wait until 2025. If I'm being honest with you, um, I definitely think that I don't think that they would film a trilogy, especially like a um, year after the sequel. I don't think that's I don't think that's the case because if you guys remember when Wes Craven made Scream 2, um, yeah, he made Scream 2 a year after they started filming Scream 2 immediately after, Scream 1996. But Scream 3 didn't come out until 2000. So that came out roughly 2 years, 3 years. And that was a trilogy. So it took at least like a couple years for it, for it to be released. Like, so they didn't start filming until 1999, around there, and then it released in 2000. So that's why I think that Radio Silence is going with that. They're going with what Wes Craven did, I believe. He did it after Scream 2 or whatever. He's waiting. They're going to wait for a couple years. I think it's going to be similar to that. Like, um, but I definitely I definitely would rather them do that. And the reason why I'd much rather them do that is because I would much rather them not rush the movie and not, because if you rush the movie, that's when it becomes an issue. Like with Halloween ends and all that, how that movie I think was rushed. I think that if you take your time with this movie and you wait a few years at least, just take your time with it. I think that we're definitely gonna get it. We're definitely gonna get it. It's gonna be a good movie, and I believe as long as they take their time with it, I think it's gonna be a great film. It's only when you rush stuff was when films aren't as good. But that's just my opinion on that personally. But I think that with Scream Six, as much money as it made, I definitely do think that we are getting to Scream Seven, and it kind of shows with how much money Scream Six made. So it would be hard for me to believe that they just would not make another one. Especially how much money Scream Six made. So yeah, we all know that they're making another one. They're making another Scream film. I know that for a fact. We don't know that for a fact. We're just theorizing and saying that because how Scream Six did in the box office. But I'm just saying that I truly do think that we are getting another one because there's no way in the world that they're just going to making quit making them. Wes Craven made 3 movies. He made a trilogy, and then 10 years later, he made a 4th film. So it'd be hard for me to believe that Radio Silence, would just say number 2. Scream 6 is the last. That's why I think truly that there's going to be a trilogy with it. And rather if Scream 7 is going to be the last, I think Scream 7 could be very well the last movie for a while. Probably until I would say probably 10 years down the line, probably. Because if you guys remember, like I said, Scream 4 didn't come out until 2011. And Scream 3 was released in 2000. And Scream 3 was originally supposed to be the last. But later on, they decided, Wes Craven decided to make another one. He didn't really want to make another one. He was going to say that Scream 3 was going to be the last one. But then he decided, 10 years later, he decided he wanted to make another one. So that I could totally see that with Radio Silence, Scream 7 being the last one for like a long time. And then, later down the line, them making another one. But I do think that it'll probably be the last one for a while. I definitely think that. But, and now on the flip side of things, I've also read an article about how they want Mark Kincaid basically to return. And I talked about that many times. How they want Mark Kincaid to return to the franchise. They basically said they're open to it. Now, is it true? I don't know if it's true. Okay. I don't know if it's true because these articles are not really reliable. So I don't know if it's true at all, but I do think that there's a lot of, I don't know what to believe. A lot of people, make articles out there just to scam people, just to get people believing and talking, And we didn't really hear nothing from Radio Silence. So that's kind of my problem with it, but that's why I don't think it's real. Could be, but I don't really know. You can't really believe anything that you hear, especially articles like that, because they're not true. Most of them aren't true. Like they said that, Scream 7 is basically greenlit. We don't know that 100%, but we do know that I do know that for 100% that they're making another one, without a doubt. That's all I really know. Um, I don't think I don't think that Radio Silence is gonna, just quit making the movies. Like I said, they're gonna make another one. They're gonna make a trilogy, and this trilogy is gonna be probably the last for a while. I'm thinking, um, but that's just my opinion on that. But yeah, there's all these rumors about Matthew Lillard. Matthew Lillard basically saying that he was in talks, with Radio Silence and all this and that, and that's all a bunch of lies. I already know that's all fake. There's no way that's true, in my opinion. I definitely think that that's fake, not real at all. Because why in the world would Radio Silence would never say that publicly? They would never come out and say, "Hey, Matthew Lillard was in talks with us." I mean, come on, Radio Silence is not going to do that. They're going to keep it a surprise, and that's what I want. I want it to be a surprise. So I don't think Radio Silence is going to sit there and say it like come out and say, "Oh well, Matthew Lillard was in talks with us and this and that." Like, no, they're not going to say that. I don't expect them to say that. I expect them to actually lie to me more than anything because I want to be surprised, going into the movie. So, but we don't even know 100%, if Matthew Lillard is coming back. Because Matthew Lillard has even said, in interviews that he wants to come back, but now he's turning around saying that his character is dead now. Like, so it's kind of confusing. It's a confusing situation here. I mean, I don't know if his character is really dead or not, because he said a few years back that he believes that his character is alive, that his character survived the TV and whatnot, that he feels like his character is alive. So, but now he's all changing the story now, saying that he's dead now. Like, so it's just like one of those things. Like, is he doing it just to do it because he's in the movie and he's just trying to surprise everybody? Or is his character really dead? And is he really telling the truth? Because, I mean, Kevin Williamson has came out and basically said, that Stu's basically dead and all that, which I found kind of weird because he said it right when Scream 6 was being released, like before it was being released. So that I found that a little weird. But I don't know really what to believe in, like if Stu does not return, like I said, I will be disappointed, but I'm not going to walk out of the theater or nothing, but I will be disappointed because I really want him to return. And I think this is the opportunity to do it, but we don't even know. Like I said, I don't even know if he's going to return or not, but it's definitely one of those things. I definitely want it. Everybody wants it, He was supposed to return for Scream 3, but didn't happen because of the Combine shooting. So I think this is the time, they could do it finally. Radio Silence could definitely do it, I think. A lot of people think that, it's going to be for fan service. I don't think it's going to be. I personally don't think it's going to be for fan service, but that's what a lot of people think. So it's going to be very interesting. And if he doesn't return, I definitely see Leslie Mocker coming back. even if he does return, I could see her coming back. I could see them both possibly, working together in the cult. Um, but I don't really know. Like, if Stu doesn't come back, I think Leslie makes a lot more sense to bring back. I think she would fit in the story pretty like perfectly. I think she could be like a cult leader. But just say if Matthew Lillard doesn't want to come back, well, your only option is really to bring back Leslie, which I think Leslie Mocker. I've been talking about, how Leslie Mocker could basically, return, and she could be even a cult leader or a part of the cult, with Stu. So that would be very interesting. But like I said, we don't even know. We don't even know if he's going to return. And that's just the thing. I can't really get my hopes up because everybody's coming out and basically saying, Kevin Williamson, Matthew Lillard now saying, that his character's dead and all that. So I really don't know, what to believe. And if he is dead, well, that's kind of unfortunate, because I definitely think that if the Combine shooting never happened, we would have gotten him, in Scream 3. And yeah, it'll be unfortunate that happens. But who really knows at this point, Who really knows? It's going to be very interesting, to say the least. And by the way, my Scream DVD is actually on the way here. My Scream 6 DVD. It's coming in the mail tomorrow, and I'll be doing a video. I'll be doing like an unboxing video or just a video basically showing you guys, that I got it. Because yeah, I didn't order the steelbook or nothing, but I ordered the regular Blu-ray disc because I've never been a fan of like the Ultra 4K. They made Ultra 4K for all the Scream movies. I never really cared for that because Blu-ray is just more like, I think Blu-ray is basically the same. Like I was saying yesterday, like I think that Blu-ray is basically the same, as Ultra 4Ks. It looks just as good. But Ultra 4Ks is a little bit better. I mean, the graphics look a little better, but Blu-ray is still good, I think. So I never really cared for the Ultra 4K, because I always thought that Blu-ray looks good. I think it's good in the way it is. So. But yeah, I'm gonna wait for some people to get in here. Hopefully, but yeah, Scream 6, man. Scream 7, excuse me. Scream 6, though, I'm getting that in DVD, and when Scream 6 comes out, on Scream 6, or when I get it tomorrow, I'm gonna, like I said, be doing a video. So be sure to stay tuned for that tomorrow. But yeah, it's gonna be very, very interesting. I have all the Scream movies in DVD. I got Scream 2022 as well. Um, it's gonna be a lot of fun for sure. But yeah, Scream 6 is gonna be pretty interesting. All right, Scream 7, excuse me. I'm getting Scream 6 and DVD tomorrow, but Scream 7 is going to be very interesting. I'm very curious to see like how long we're going to have to wait because, like I said, I think that we're definitely going to have to wait. We're definitely going to have to wait until 2025, 2024, or 2025, excuse me. 2025 is about the time that I have, or 2026. It's going to be at least a couple of years until I think we see it personally. Yeah, wait for some people to get in here and kind of chat about Scream 6, Scream 7, excuse me. We could talk about the Scream. We could talk about the Scream 6 DVD though. I mean, because I don't know if any of you are going to be doing that or not. Getting the new Scream 6, getting Scream 6 DVD. Um, I'm pretty sure a lot of people is probably getting like the Steelbook. Like the Steelbook is pretty good, I guess. But like I said, I never really cared for that. I've always wanted to, I always liked the regular DVDs, just the regular DVDs is always, to me, is the regular Blu-ray, not the regular DVDs, but like the Blu-ray DVDs. Like I've never cared about the steel books or the. Now if they made a box set or something, I would be totally cool with that because, like I said, I've been talking about a Scream box set like in the future, like Scream Factory possibly, making one because they really do good with those box sets, in my opinion. They really do. They do a pretty damn good job with their box sets. Um, like I said, the Friday the 13th box set looks pretty crazy. Like the designs on there, Halloween as well, look pretty damn looks pretty damn awesome. So I can't imagine them, making a Scream one like just Ghostface designs all over it. Like, but yeah, it's gonna be very, very interesting. It's gonna be very interesting to say the least. If they decide to do that in the future, because yeah, we never really got a box set. They've had like a box set before the fourth movie came out. Like back in the day, back when I was younger, they used to have this box set basically where you it basically had like all three movies in it, but it was like a big box and it had all three movies and it was like tapes. It was back in the like before CD players and all that were around. It's back when you like have like tapes and all that, like before CDs. Like I remember they had a box set like that back in those days, but I'm just talking about like a box set with like the deep like Blu-ray and all that, like just like one big one, like kind of like Friday the 13th, how they have. But I think that they're gonna wait till probably Scream 7 because you're better off waiting until that releases to do that because if you do that now, they're basically, Scream 7 comes out, you're gonna, miss a movie and you might as well just wait until Scream 7, comes out too, so you could get all of them, one box set. But yeah, I think Radio Silence's films are just a little different. Like the styles are different than Wes Craven's. That, and they, I understand that. Like I understand that I understand that people like, they like the Screen 5 and all that. But for me, I just don't like it as much. I think Screen 4 was probably the last like good one, the last like great Scream film. Um, because Scream 4 had a lot of chase scenes, a lot of great chase scenes and all that. Um, it was very very interesting. Scream 4 basically had some great chase scenes, great chase scenes, great moments. Um, what a screen film should be like, in my opinion. But Screen 5 didn't have any of that, which was disappointing. Um, but yeah, it's definitely gonna be very interesting. How they do Screen 7. But yeah, I just don't really like that style. Like I understand that yeah, they're not gonna be the same. I just wish that Wes Craven had plans, to make a screenshot or a Screen 5, excuse me. Um, but he sadly passed away when he, before he even got the chance. But yeah, very interesting to say the least. Sorry, y'all. I'm kind of watching myself right now on on YouTube. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. Scream 7 is gonna be. I think it's gonna be a great trilogy, but there's just a lot of things that I think they have to do just right. They have to make fix their mistakes that they did in because there's a lot of mistakes in Scream 6, but I think they fixed a lot in Scream 6, compared to 5. Scream 5 was just absolutely just ridiculous, in my opinion. I think the chase scenes, if you're showing tribute to Wes Craven, you have to add, the chase scenes. That's the one thing you have to add. Like, there's no way that you could show tribute to Wes Craven but not add that. So it didn't really make too much sense to me. But there's a lot of people out there that like Scream 5, and hey, I'm happy you enjoyed it. Those of you that did enjoy it, I'm happy that you guys enjoyed it. But I just didn't. I don't think it's as good as 4 or 3 even. I think Scream 3 is way better than 5. You know, I'll pick Wes Craven all day over Radio Silence. That's just my opinion, though. Of course, there's a lot of people that like certain stuff. There's a lot of people that like different stuff. Which I respect. People have their own preferred movie. There's a lot of people that like Rob Zombie's films. There's a lot of people that like um, there's a lot of people that like Scream 5, a lot more than the originals. There's just a lot of people that prefer different stuff, which it's just like preferred food. People, there's people that have different types of food that they like. Like I like, pizza and all that. Well, somebody else may not like pizza. Somebody else may like other stuff and may hate pizza. Like I said, and that's cool. I like that everybody's basically got their own view on stuff, like their own opinion on movies. And there's some people that like certain movies, and some people don't. Like me, like I like Scream 3, but a lot of people don't. You know, people are entitled, to their opinion. I'm not gonna hate them for that, for not liking it, because yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it does have a lot of problems, but no movie I don't think is perfect. You know, but yeah, I don't like Rob Zombie's Halloween films. There's a lot of people that like those. There's a lot of people that like them. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that think, especially they think that there's a lot of people that think, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is underrated. Like, which I respect their opinion on that. Because I mean, the kills, I'm not gonna lie, the kills are pretty damn good. I'm not gonna even lie about that. Like the kills, that's the one thing I could say about the Rob Zombie films is that the kills are pretty damn creative, and they're pretty brutal and pretty graphic, and pretty entertaining. So I can't lie about that. Like I enjoyed that part of it, but it's just like the story, like the first Rob Zombie's Halloween was basically there was a scene or two basically copying on 1978, which I didn't like that. It's basically like a copy and paste, which I don't like that at all. If you're gonna do that, if you're truly gonna do that, like I understand that John Carpenter basically gave you permission, you know, to do whatever you wanted, but that still doesn't give you a right to shit on Dr. Loomis like that in the character. You know what I mean? I felt like Rob Zombie shit on Dr. Loomis because Dr. Loomis was a straight dickhead in that movie, like straight up. Um, a lot of people, a lot of people don't like. A lot of people just don't. That's why. That's the reason why I'm not a fan of it. It's just because Dr. Loomis is just a dickhead in that movie, and he was never like that in the old movies. If you go watch the old Halloween movies, he was never like that. He was never a dickhead. He was never evil, like Rob Zombie made him look in his film. Like, no, he just wasn't. I'm sorry. Rob Zombie just made him totally look stupid. Made Laurie look stupid more than anything as well. Like, in my opinion, Laurie is basically a drug addict and all that. And she was never doing any of that in the older films. I mean, yeah, you could say that, John Carpenter gave him permission to do whatever. But the shit on the OG characters, the shit on John Carpenter's characters like that is absolutely just disrespectful in my eyes. I don't care what anybody says. Okay? That's so disrespectful, and that's poverty in my eyes. There's no way in hell that you do that to OG characters like that. Like Dr. Loomis, absolutely, you just made him look like a dickhead. You made Laurie Strode look like a dickhead. You made her a drug addict and all that. Like, absolutely just ridiculous. That's why, I don't like it personally, but there's people out there that do like it. And I always tell people, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. That's what I always tell people because there's a lot of people that like that film. There's a lot of people that like the second one, And I'm not even going to lie about it. I'm going to be real honest with you. I honestly think that the second one and the first one, even, like, they both have great kills. I'm not even going to lie about that. That's one thing I'm not going to deny. Like, I'm going to be totally honest with you and say that, yeah, that's the only thing that I like about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 and the first one is that, the kills were pretty entertaining. But a lot of these people, a lot of these fans of other, a lot of these Rob Zombie fans in general that like those movies always say, oh, he's better than John Carpenter. That he's a better director than John Carpenter and this and that. I don't think he's a better director than John Carpenter. I just don't. Okay, just because he's got more graphic kills in his movies doesn't make him better than John Carpenter. That's just my opinion. Like, a lot of people always say, hey, he's better than John Carpenter because basically his movies basically had a lot of gore. His movies are very graphic and this and that. And John Carpenter didn't have any of that. Well, John Carpenter wasn't about that. He wasn't about the gore. He wasn't about none of that. Like, Wes Craven wasn't even into that stuff. So I hate that I hate when people say that when they say, "Oh, John Carpenter, he's better than or Rob Zombie's better than John Carpenter and this and that." I disagree with that. I strongly disagree with that. But hey, As I said, a lot of people are entitled to their own opinion. Like a lot of people enjoyed, Rob Zombie's version of Shared Bracket than they did the original Shared Bracket. A lot of people enjoyed Brad Dourif more than they did the original John Carpenter's Shared Bracket. So hey, I mean that's people are entitled to their opinion at the end of the day, but people like what they like. Um, but yeah, for me, I just don't like. Okay, yeah, it was cool. It was cool seeing Rob Zombie. It was cool, seeing Michael as like a kid and all that in prison and all that, and tell the story about him, as a kid and all that. Okay, I like that. But as far as copying 1978 and all that, copying the same scenes, that's where it becomes a problem, you know? Because why remake a movie that was great? You know, you're basically copying 1978's film. There's no need to copy it. 1978 Halloween was great. You didn't have to remake that. Like, if we want to go watch 1978's Halloween, I have a copy of it, and I could just put it in and watch it. I don't have to watch no remake because I think I get tired of that when people do that. When people remake movies that shouldn't be remade, movies that are good, and I can't stand that. That's just me though. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, I'm not saying that there's not no good remakes because there is. There's a lot of good remakes out there, but it becomes a problem when you're copying the same scenes, from the originals. And it gets kind of dumb, in my opinion. It's dumb. That's all it is. Because you're basically copying the same scenes from the older movies. And why do that when you could go watch the originals? It's like you already seen. It's like you already seen that story. Why do you need that story again? We've already seen that. Like, we don't need to see it again. So that's just my problem with remakes. Okay, if somebody does a remake and they do their own thing and just don't copy the other movies, I'm okay with that. Then I would have liked it. But it becomes a problem when you copy the other movie. You know, they copied scenes from 1978, and it would have been better if they just went their own direction. And just told their own story as opposed to copying it. Because 1978 was good. And there was no need to remake it, in my opinion. So that's my only problem with remakes. When you're basically copying the original movies, when you go your own route, like let's say like Leather Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 2003. That movie was great. That movie was no, I don't think that movie was even copying 1974's um, Leatherface or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, I don't think it's copying it at all. At all. Like, they went their own direction with that movie, that's what I respect. It's not like they copied it. It becomes a problem when you copy it, though. When you copy older movies, other than Otherwise, if you don't do that, well, I don't mind remakes. You know. So yeah, that's basically my little rant there about Rob Zombie's Halloween. There, that's just my opinion. There's a lot of people that like it, and hey, like I said, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I'm glad that you liked it. I like Resurrection. You know, as much as people don't like that film, I think Resurrection is actually the most underrated Halloween film in the franchise. Like, and a lot of people don't like it. So that's just my preferred. There's a lot of people that think Halloween 3 is underrated, which, okay, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. But for me, it's not a Halloween film, you know, because he wasn't in it and they named it Halloween. But yeah, like I said, a lot of people, that's a good thing about movies. People have their own opinions about certain movies. They like certain movies that other people may not like. Like I like Scream 3, and a lot of people don't like that. I like Resurrection. Um, but of course, there's people out there that enjoy, like, also another movie that I think is underrated that gets a lot of hate is Jason X. I mean, and also Jason Takes Manhattan, which Jason Takes Manhattan, in my opinion, is probably the most underrated in terms of, like, I like the look of Jason. I like the look of him in that movie. Um, how's it going, Ali? How you doing, man? Thank you for popping in. I'm just talking about. I was just going on my a little rant there about you are my superhero. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you as well. That's really that makes me feel really good when people actually say that. But how you doing, man? But yeah, I was just going on and saying that basically everybody likes what they like at the end of the day, and that's just the way it is, and that's the way with food. People like different foods, and there's people that like different foods from other, like, well, let's just say that I like pizza. Like I said, somebody may not like pizza, and somebody may like other stuff. Well, it's just like a movie. People are not going to like the same movie that you do. What's up, DJ? How you doing, man? I don't know if you've been hearing, but I've been going on a little rant here about Rob Zombie's Halloween a little bit, and basically how I was basically explaining, like, how it becomes a problem, with remakes when you copy the original, because you're basically just rehashing the same stuff that you've already watched. Like, but yeah, Halloween is the most. Okay, yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre is without a doubt the most underrated franchise, probably in slashers in general, just because Texas Chainsaw Massacre was actually the first slasher film to be released before um, Halloween, which that, and people don't really talk about that as much. And I always say that Leatherface And those movies are just, pretty underrated. That's just my opinion, though. Um, and a lot of people may not like them. Like me, I didn't like. I don't. I like the first one, and I like the 2003, and also the 2006, and also 3D. I like those. A lot of people didn't like 3D, but me, I like 3D. I think 3D is a really good. I think it's a really underrated film. I just like it. It's a different. I like the look of Leatherface in that movie. I wish they never had changed his look, but they did. His remake is okay. It's weak elements. All right, dialogue. Yeah, and I didn't like the way he portrayed, Dr. Loomis. I don't like the way that he treated Laurie Strode either. Okay, people could say Laurie Strode basically was kind of psycho-ish, kind of had PTSD because of Michael. But at the same time, Rob Zombie went all in and just made her a drug addict. And I don't remember Laurie Strode being a drug addict. If you go watch the older movies, I don't remember. I don't remember that. Like, tell me if I'm wrong, because I don't remember her being a drug addict. Okay, maybe she's got some form of PTSD. Okay, maybe she was in a mental maybe she was in the hospital and all that because she had PTSD and all that. But the thing is, is like I was saying, she was never a drug addict. She never did drugs. And the way that Rob Zombie portrayed him or portrayed her and Dr. Loomis was absolutely just disrespectful in my eyes. I feel like he shit on their characters because Dr. Loomis was never like that in my opinion. He was never an evil person. Like, not a fan of the Michael Myers backstory. Yeah, I'm not either. Like, okay, like I like the kills, which I give him credit for that all the time. Like I always say, the kills are probably the best part about it. But other than that, yeah, his backstory and all that, in my opinion, is just it's absolutely just bogus. And of course, there's a lot of people that like those, that like those movies. Which, like I always say, hey, you like what people like what they like. Lawyer was an alcoholic and H2O. Yeah, maybe she was, but at the same time, I don't think she was like overboard like that. Like, it seemed like she was like overboard, like alcoholic in Rob Zombie's Halloween. Like he made her look like really dark. You know, he made her look a little too dark. Maybe she was a little bit of a alcoholic and H2O, but still, I think they went a little overboard. With her being an alcoholic. I think Rob Zombie went a little too dark with her. Like, well, I always tell people, you know, people like what they like, and I'm not going to judge them for what they like. You know, people are going to like what they like, and that's, people got preferred, different stuff. People like different stuff, and but yeah, I just didn't buy that. I didn't buy that. Boy Strode, like I said, maybe she was a drug addict in H2O, but it seemed like Rob Zombie made it a little too like dark, just a little too overboard. But that's just my opinion. It would have been different, if you would have. I just felt like the way he portrayed Dr. Loomis too. Not only Michael, but Dr. Loomis was just absolutely just like I said, ridiculous. I found that the actor to be annoying, honestly. Yeah, Zombie did a character assassination with Loomis and Laurie in his sequel. Yeah, he did. He actually killed Dr. Loomis. And I think did he kill Laurie as well? So he basically killed both of them. And that's just absolutely, in my eyes, I just don't buy it. Yeah, and then now I kind of feel like they should just leave the Dr. Loomis thing alone. Just because Dr. Loomis, Donald Pleasance was Dr. Loomis. And I feel like he's always going to be Dr. Loomis, in my opinion. Just the way he played Dr. Loomis in the older movies, you know, he's a legend for sure. But this new actor that was playing him, no, I don't buy that. And of course, like I said, John Carpenter, realistically, he said Rob Zombie could do whatever he wanted with the film. Okay, and I understand that. But when you sit there and you copy the same scenes from John Carpenter's Halloween, and on top of that, you make one of his characters that he created look stupid, that's where I can't forgive you for that. I'm sorry. You know, that was wrong in my opinion. You should have never portrayed Dr. Loomis that way. Like, and then the other problem that I have, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is when basically, yeah, like I said, the only good part about it was probably Danielle Harris and Brad Dourif. They're the only ones that really carry the film, both films. But the second one, my other problem is that Michael was basically talking. He was basically talking um, at the end. And to me, that's just unrealistic. And it's just like, come on, man. It's Michael Myers. Michael Myers does not talk whatsoever. I don't care what anybody says. He doesn't talk. That's a part of his character. You know, he doesn't talk. He's silent. That's what makes him so creepy. Is that he's silent. And the fact that, like I said, Rob Zombie decided to, have Michael talk and all that. Come on, dude. Absolutely just ridiculous. So that's my other problem with it. And I do like the first one. I do like the first one more, than the second. I think the first one was a lot better. But yeah, people like that kind of stuff. Hey, everybody likes what they like. And that's kind of why I don't really think that Rob Zombie is ever going to make another Halloween. And I don't really want him to. I'd much rather him just stay away from Halloween. But a lot of people were saying that there's a lot of rumors that he was basically planning on making like a third Rob Zombie film, like a third movie. Um, but I really don't want that. I don't think that's worth anybody's time, in my opinion. I'd much rather him just stay away from Halloween as a whole, because I think he did enough damage. I think he did enough damage already to the franchise, to the movies. There's no need to add more fuel to it. But yeah, it's definitely that's what everybody kind of worries about. Friday the 13th. Like, how come Rob Zombie doesn't make a Friday the 13th film or a Texas Chainsaw film? Like, why did he decide to make a Halloween? I understand. Yeah, maybe he was a fan of the Halloween films, but I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Friday the 13th kind of fits his style, especially with Leatherface having that chainsaw and all that. I think that fits his style, especially Friday the 13th. But That's just my opinion personally. A lot of people even think that he can make a screen film, which a screen film, I mean, really? I mean, I don't really think that he. I mean, yeah, it would be pretty cool, like the kills and all that, but would he really be? Would that really be his style? I don't think so. I don't think that would be his style. Like, I think more of his style is more like Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw, you know? But that would be pretty brutal. It would be pretty brutal. Not gonna lie about that. Like, I just think that if Rob Zombie would have done something else, I'd have been cool with that. Like Friday, like I said, Friday the 13th seems like more of his style because Friday the 13th is more brutal. Jason's a zombie, and it fits his whole name, Rob Zombie. You know, um, like I said, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, those films, that really fits his style as well. Like just the chainsaw, just the brutalness of Leatherface, like it just fits his style. Like I don't know what it is, but it just fits his style because they're a lot, you know, they're really brutal, you know. And not saying Halloween isn't, but it just seems like Friday the 13th is more fitting. And even, you know, Friday the third, or even Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like I have to say the opening scene in two was great. However, everything after is garbage apart from Annie and Bracket. Yeah, I always enjoyed. I always enjoyed, you know, Danielle Harris. She's a great actress, and she carries a lot. You know, she carries the film for me. You know, same with Brad Dourif. He carries the film for me, both films. But other than that, everything else about it is just garbage. Like Dr. Loomis is garbage. Laurie Strode's garbage. Um, like I said, the way Michael Myers basically talks is absolutely just makes it even more garbage. Like, because he never talks. And the mask too look kind of shitty too. I mean, in the first movie it looked pretty good, but the second movie it just went overboard. I don't know what happened. Like, but yeah, I agree with you on that. Annie and Brackett, and the best part of the movies, both movies. And now I'm not gonna lie, I do agree as well with the opening scene. The opening scene for two was awesome, phenomenal. But everything after that, garbage. Too much nudity. Okay, you could say that horror movies are, have a lot of nudity. Yeah, but Rob Zombie went overboard with that. You know, he went way overboard with the nudity and all that. Like, in my opinion. honestly think the nudity was pretty damn. It was pretty damn crazy. Like, okay, again, a lot of horror movies have a lot of nudity, but the only horror movie that really doesn't have any nudity is probably, like I said, Scream. Uh, the Child's Play films kind of does, but Scream doesn't really have any. Scream doesn't have any of that. I think that's really the only franchise, you know. Texas Chainsaw Massacre may have a little, but I think Scream is the only one realistically that doesn't necessarily have that. You know, having too much nudity like that. Because Rob Zombie, okay, like I understand, yeah, there is nudity in horror movies. You know, there's a lot of nudity in Friday the 13th and all that. And the older Halloweens, there was some, but not a lot. You know, and Rob Zombie just really, I don't know what the hell he was thinking when he made the movie just about that. Like, he made it way too nudity. It was way too graphic, like in terms of like nudity. He went overboard with that. Like, I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but yeah, I'm just very very excited. You know, for I've always been a fan of the Halloween films. My second favorite franchise. You know, but Rob Zombie, like I said, just went overboard, and like I said, there's a lot of people that like those films, and like I always say, you know, hey, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Um, Now, if I had to choose which one I wanted to watch over Halloween Ends or Rob Zombie film, of course I'm going to choose Rob Zombie films, just because Halloween Ends. Basically, Michael had a partner in the movie. You know, I'd much rather watch that Rob Zombie's films over that. But and I would also watch Rob Zombie's films over Halloween 3, which doesn't have Michael in it at all. So I'd much rather have that. You know, I'd much rather watch that film than Halloween 3, because Halloween 3, like I said, doesn't even have Michael in it at all, and that's kind of a problem for me. You know, that you basically named it a Halloween film. It's supposed to be a Halloween film, but he wasn't even in it. You know, so yeah, you know, I would definitely watch Rob Zombie's films over that film and also Halloween Ends, but definitely not over in the original 1978 or Halloween 4, Halloween 5, 6, H2O, or Resurrection. I'd pick those over Rob Zombie's films any day. But in terms of like over Halloween Ends and Halloween 3, of course. But yeah, um, Halloween's gonna be a very, very. I'm just very curious to see how long we're gonna have to wait, until we get another one. And I'm thinking that we're probably gonna have to wait at least another 5 years. Um, um, Now I'm very excited for. I am very excited for um, the Friday the 13th TV series, which that's gonna be pretty interesting. I'd much rather have a movie, but then again, I guess a TV series is better than nothing. Now I did hear that they could be making a Halloween one as well, which that's gonna be very interesting. Um, and I kind of figured that they would probably do that just because Scream has a TV series, and so does Chucky. So I kind of figured that they would probably do a Halloween one and also a Friday the 13th one, but that's what I heard, anyways. But of course, that's just rumors. But I do know that there is going to be a Friday the 13th TV series. It's going to be called, I think, it's going to be called Crystal Lake, Camp Crystal Lake, I believe. I'm going to have to look it up real quick. Yep. It's called Crystal Lake TV series, which that's going to be very interesting. Um, so it says the Friday the 13th franchise is finally getting set to return to the screen with Crystal Lake, an upcoming prequel television series from A24 Peacock and Brian Fuller Hannibal that's um, miraculously able to use any and all existing elements um, from the franchise. So that's going to be very, very interesting. That they're going to be making a Friday the 13th TV series. Like I said, I'd much rather have a movie, but I wonder if Kane Hodder is going to be playing Jason. And I wonder if he's ever going to return. A lot of people think that he's too old to return, but I honestly don't think so. I think that he could come back. I've been saying that I think that it would be cool to see him back in like a film again or something. Um, I've been saying, I think he's the most like realistic. I think he's more like I find him better to be. I find him to be the best, Jason. just because, you know, just his intensity that he brings, to the role, kind of is a reason why, I think that he's the best, just because the intensity that he brings to the character. And there's been a lot of rumors about him possibly, playing Michael Myers and all that. A lot of people think he's too old. I don't really think he's too old. I think that he could still play Michael Myers, honestly. But a lot of people's been saying, because he's been wanting to play Michael Myers since he's played, pretty much every other character. You like Leatherface, um, obviously, Hatchet, Victor Crowley, um, Jason, obviously. So he's played other characters. He just hasn't got to play Michael Myers, which that's one that he said that he would love to play. Which I think that would be down for that as well. Um, but a lot of people think he is too old, which I don't think he's too old. I think that he could return if he could return as Jason. I think that he could definitely play Michael Myers. You know, um, because I would love to see him return to play. Return to a Friday the 13th film. Okay, so Crystal Lake TV series. So it says Friday the 13th prequel series. Crystal Lake sets a release window. Um, Final Girl Adrian King shared an important update on the Brian Fuller horror series. While the franchise was spawned over 10 feature-length spin-offs, a true to the story Friday the 13th series has never been done until now. In an Instagram and Twitter post, OG franchise Final Girl Adrian King has given audiences a small piece of information concerning the very hush-hush prequel series. Crystal Lake, revealing that it's expected to land on TVs everywhere in 2024. In a set of posts, King shared a peek as work begins on the Peacock and A24 back project, sharing a hashtag at the bottom which read "Coming 2024." With so much under wraps, this revelation is a welcome bit of information for fans of the slasher franchise. Give a shout out to Crystal Lake producer and showrunner Brian Fuller. The first Instagram image sees King standing next to the Star Trek Discovery co-creator and Hannibal creator, gleefully smiling and writing that she had another exciting meeting with the man at the top. The second behind the scene Twitter look sees both Fuller and King surrounded by a group of smiling faces as King reveals that the show's very first writers' meeting was a major success. Already packed with some of the biggest names in the horror biz, not only will Deadlight Me and pushing Daisy's producer Fuller be involved with the title, but he'll also be joined by the original film's writer Victor Miller, who will serve the series as an executive producer. Friday the 13th producer Rob Barsman joined, as well as IP attorney Mark Tobroff. That's very interesting. You know, I'm very excited to see what the series is going to be. You know, how it's going to be. You know, like I said, we haven't had a Friday the 13th film since 2009, but I think this is a big deal. You know, Crystal Lake release date on Peacock. So yeah, they said it's going to be coming out in 2024. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Um, the question is, will we get a movie? I mean, yeah, I definitely think we will. I think when the time is right, we'll definitely probably get a movie. But right now, I think they're just doing the television series. You know, um, but yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. To see how it goes. Um, so yeah, so we're definitely getting that. I never heard of any other news right now at this time. Um, Obviously, this news has been out for a while, but I just kind of wanted to read it off. But yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. Um, Crystal Lake trailer 2024, the Friday the 13th prequel series. So it's going to be very interesting. Um, as y'all know, this lawsuit's kind of been hurting, a lot. There was a lawsuit going on. That's the reason why we hadn't got a Friday the 13th film in so long. Is because of that, because um, of the lawsuit, everything going on with that. They kind of ruined a lot of stuff. Um, it ruined the Friday the 13th. It kind of ruined the video game as well, which I was a big fan of the video game. They were going to update a lot of stuff, but unfortunately they couldn't because of the lawsuit. There was a battle for like the rights. I think Sean Cunningham and Victor Miller, I guess, were fighting over the rights and all that of Friday the 13th. So there was a lawsuit. Obviously, it's all done now, but it's kind of unfortunate, with the video game, because I was a fan. That video game was pretty fun. It's kind of unfortunate that we didn't get any updates. That this lawsuit kind of, hurt that, and we didn't get, it's really, it's unfortunate, but that's all right. But yeah, we haven't had a movie since 2009, which that's been 15 years, I believe. I'm going to have to do the count real quick. So 2009, so it's 2023 right now. Um, so 2009. 14 years. So I was pretty close. I said 14. I said 15 years, but it's been 14 years since we've had a Friday the 13th film, and that's kind of unfortunate. I mean, but they came out with some fan films and all that, which I appreciate because a lot of these fan filmmakers are pretty damn good. And it makes it seem like a lot of these movies seem to be like real. A lot of them seem to be like real movies. They feel like real movies. A lot of them do. Um, I just think they do such a great job, with with these movies and all that. There's this fan film director that I heard of. He makes like stab films. He makes um, screen fan films, which he does a really good job with those. I mean, a lot of these fan films just look so real, like a lot of these people just do such a great job with this kind of stuff. And I'm obviously, I'm a big fan of fan films, and I have somebody that I know as well. His name is Brett, I believe, and even DJ here in the chat is making his own fan film, and Brett is making a Halloween fan film. So shout out to you, man. If you come across this live stream, um, but yeah, definitely can't wait to watch that. DJ is definitely going to be making. DJ was telling me he's going to be making a fan film as well, a Halloween one. And I think he said he's making a Scream one as well, which that's going to be very interesting. Friday the 13th. TV series. Yeah, it's gonna be very, very cool. Like, and am I excited? I'm absolutely excited for this. Oh, we got somebody in the chat. Um, how's it going, Mayan? How you doing? We're just basically talking about Friday the 13th, the TV series coming out. We were talking about Halloween and all that too. I was going on a rant about Rob Zombie's Halloween just a little bit ago, but thank you for popping in. How you doing? Yeah, we're just basically. I was just going on a little rant for a little while, especially about Rob Zombie's Halloween, how much I just dislike those movies. But I was explaining, how it's kind of cool that everybody's got different views, on certain movies. Like it's cool that everybody's got different preferences and all that. That's kind of like the beauty of film, that everybody basically has got different views. It's like people's got different, food choices and all that. Which I respect, I like, when people say they like it, um, I have to say, hey, you enjoy. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I actually love the Friday the 13th franchise. I do too. I really do. It may not be up there for me for like up there with Halloween, but I do like it. It's my third favorite horror franchise. Um, although I do, like I said, like Halloween more, I still respect Friday the 13th, and it's still a great film franchise. Um, and what do you think? I actually have a question for you, man. What do you think about, like, what's the most underrated Friday the 13th film to you? Like, which one do you feel is underrated? Because I feel like the most underrated, I think, Friday the 13th film is probably, I'm going to say Jason Takes Manhattan is probably the most underrated, and also Jason X. I like both of those films, but I think Jason Takes Manhattan is probably the most underrated. But what's your thoughts on that? Like, which one do you think is underrated? And like I said, I like Jason Takes Manhattan. I think that film is pretty good. The look of Jason's pretty good. I feel, even though a lot of people didn't really expect them to be in a cruise ship for one half of the movie, um, still think it's a really good movie. It's still unappreciated, and I don't know. That's just my opinion on it, personally. I agree because I enjoyed Jason Takes Manhattan. Yeah, I mean, Jason Takes Manhattan is just so good. Like, I don't know. A lot of people just find like Charles to be annoying in the movie, but I actually enjoyed him. I enjoyed Charles. I enjoyed the whole movie. I just like the characters. That's just me though. A lot of people, again, have different preferences, but I don't know. I just can't help that I like that film so much. People just don't like it. Yeah, and I kind of understand that. I kind of understand that because they were gonna just call it, they should have just called it, take the cruise ship. But I kind of understand why people hate on it, because I think it's mostly that, like, because it wasn't really in Manhattan, and everybody expected it to be, in just Manhattan the whole film. But at the same time, I still enjoyed it. You know, still a great film, very underrated, and also, Jason X. Jason X is another great, Friday the 13th film as well. And I feel like that movie is just, I don't know why I like that movie so much. It's just the kills. And I feel like the look of Jason in that movie looks absolutely just badass. Sorry for cussing, but I think Jason looks badass in Jason X. Yeah, yeah. Jason X is just okay. Yeah, it has some cheesy moments, which not every movie, not any movie that comes out, you know, not every movie is gonna be perfect. You know, like of course there's gonna be movies that have some kind of some mistakes in it, some cheesiness in it. And yeah, Jason X does have some cheesiness, but like I said, that's all films. A lot of films have cheesiness, you know. Like I think that one scene, when that girl was basically talking still when she had when her head got chopped off. I thought that was kind of unrealistic and kind of cheesy, but other than that, the movie is just underrated. It's a great movie. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say I love all of them. I think the one that I dislike is Jason Goes to Hell, just because Jason wasn't really in it, and also, okay, yeah, the kills are good, but again, it wasn't Jason doing the kills. It was real human beings possessed by Jason doing the kills. It wasn't Jason himself. I mean, people could still say, well, it was basically Jason still, but you get what I mean. Like, it wasn't Jason. It's not like they're wearing like the mask and all that. It didn't. It wasn't the character. I felt like Kane Hodder was just. I felt like he was wasted in the movie. I just felt like he was wasted. But I'm glad that he got to do more in Jason X. And I'm not gonna lie, yeah, the kills are pretty good. But again, it wasn't Jason. You know, that's basically my takeaway from of it. It wasn't a Friday film, in my opinion. Jason Goes to Hell is without a doubt the worst. I think the worst Friday the 13th film I've ever watched, just because of not the way they blew him up in the first 5 minutes was absolutely just wrong. You know, I think they made a mistake in that movie. But I will give him credit that yeah, Jason Goes to Hell, like his mask looks pretty good. I'm not even gonna lie about that. Like the mask looks pretty damn good, but he wasn't in the movie. You know, and if he was in the movie a lot more, I would have respected it a lot more, and I would have said, hey, that look was probably better than Manhattan's look. But yeah, like I don't know, it's just me. Well, and now all the other Friday the 13th films I enjoy. It's a pretty well-rounded franchise. Um, Freddy versus Jason, I really enjoyed that, but I just didn't enjoy. The only thing I didn't enjoy about that film was just the stuntman of Jason. Just didn't. I rather much rather have Kane Hodder as a stuntman. I don't know why. I heard stories about Kane Hodder. I heard stories why he wasn't in it. He's even told some stories, but that would have been awesome, a lot better to me if he was actually, in Freddy versus Jason. Because I didn't, not to disrespect the stuntman that was playing Jason, but he just wasn't for me. I don't know. Yeah, I just much rather have Kane Hodder. But hey, maybe there will be down the line. Maybe we'll get a rematch. Because Freddy didn't die. But yeah, I heard the story about Freddy and Jason. I think Freddy. Okay, so the thing about Jason Goes to Hell, I love it. Absolutely love the part. Okay, I don't like the movie because Jason wasn't in it, but I do like the part when Freddy, you see Freddy's glove or whatever. That's probably the only part that I like. And it's basically you know, giving you indication that we were going to get Freddy versus Jason. And it took him like 10 years for them to make it, but I love Halloween, but it's hard for me to keep up with the timelines. Yeah, I don't know what it is about Halloween that I like more about Friday. I mean, I do like Friday the 13th, but I think that like the stockiness of Michael is just like more like scary, like more menacing. I just think it's more creepy because Jason, you kind of already know that he's coming, but Michael, you just don't know. He could be anywhere and pop out of anywhere. And he stalks too, which that's the other reason why I like him a little bit more than Jason. But I will say that Jason is probably the most like entertaining killer, you know, in terms of like killing people and all that. But yeah, it's people always ask me, who would win in a matchup between Michael and Jason because that's the matchup that I basically been wanting, because they both can't die and you know, they're both like they both don't talk, like they're both silent. So they're kind of similar in a lot of ways, but they're also different. Michael's basically just a psychopath, and Jason's basically getting revenge. You know, getting revenge on counselors that let him drown, basically. So it's kind of two different. They're both different, but they're both similar in a lot of ways. So I think that would be a very interesting matchup. That's what I think, anyways. Um, yeah, I think overall, I think like Jason probably would destroy Michael just because he is a zombie and all that. And he is, he could basically survive absolutely anything. Um, and he's an undead zombie, and Michael's just a regular person. It's basically like cursed. Um, I would probably say that Jason would probably destroy him, but if we're going with Rob Zombie's Michael Myers, I think Rob Zombie's Michael Myers would destroy any Jason, even the remake Jason, because Rob Zombie's Michael Myers was just brutal. You know, that's just my opinion. I think Tyler Mane was like 6'9" or something. So I think Rob Zombie. If you're talking about Rob Zombie's Michael, he would destroy. I think any Jason. I think. But if you're talking about John Carpenter's Michael going up against Jason, I think Jason would destroy him. Just because, like I said, it's two different. They're both different. Jason's got more strength. Um, Michael's basically he's got strength too, but he's not like an undead like zombie like Jason is. So I think Jason would definitely. But like I said, Rob Zombie's Michael would destroy any Jason, in my opinion. I think he would. I think he would tear. I think he would destroy. Um, he would probably destroy remake Jason. Probably every Jason in any of the Friday the 13th films. What's crazy is I like Jason more, but Michael's character more. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do. A lot of people like. I just say this, like in terms of intensity, I like Jason more. In terms of who's the scariest, I like Michael Myers more. Like like Jason, yeah, he is the most probably entertaining killer. The way he kills people, ripping people's arms off and all that, and that's pretty entertaining. And Michael, yeah, he just uses a butcher knife, and that's basically it. So yeah, I think Jason's the overall the more like entertaining killer, but I think Michael was like the scariest. Like, but I do like them both. You know, I don't think you would want to run into any of them, to be honest. Yes, Jason is the best. Remember when I look at the darkness in my hip room, I'm scared to know Michael's gonna pop up. Oh, yeah, I feel that. Michael's creepy like that. Like Jason, you basically know that he's coming after you, but Michael, he could just pop out absolutely anywhere. Like, you know, that's the creepy thing about it. Like, he could be in your house, he could be anywhere, in your closet, and he just stalks. So that's why I, prefer Michael in a lot of ways, to Jason because he's just more like menacing, you know. I think, but but I like them both. I like both of them. They're both. I appreciate both. I love the Friday film still, and yeah, I do think that Jason is the most. He is the most entertaining killer. Both franchises are very. Yep, they are. They're both very entertaining. But a lot of people prefer the Friday the 13th over the Halloween just because Jason, just the way he kills and all that, which I could kind of understand that, but it's kind of a lot funner in a lot of ways. But I still like them both. They're both, entertaining. Jason would destroy Michael. Yeah, that's what I said. I said that, like, basically, that if you're talking Rob Zombie's Michael, though, I think Rob Zombie's Michael would destroy any Jason, even remake Jason. But if you're talking about John Carpenter's Michael, then yeah, I don't think John Carpenter's Michael could stand a chance. I think he would absolutely get destroyed by Jason. But Rob Zombie's Michael's just gigantic, 6'9". Tyler Mane is pretty tall man, pretty brutal. I like how people run away from Jason. He pops out of nowhere. Yeah, I mean, I like that. I like that, but at the same time, I think it's more creepier for. I think it's creepier when Michael, you know, like Jason's basically he just walks and chases you like you just already know. But like I said, I like both franchises. Don't get me wrong, I like both of them. I'm just basically giving you like the reason why I prefer the Halloween films a little bit more than Friday the 13th. Just giving you my preferred. But other than that, I like both. They're both, like I said, entertaining. Wait, but 2009 is a beast. He is a beast, but I have a feeling that Rob Zombie's Michael is just so brutal, just so big, so strong, got a big frame. You know, I just think that he could destroy that Jason. That's just my opinion. But yeah, no, you're right. He is a beast. I respectfully disagree. Jason could put Rob Zombie's head off. Uh, I respect your opinion, but I disagree with that. I honestly think that Rob Zombie's Halloween is just the more overall like brutal, like Michael Myers. I think that Rob Zombie's Michael is just absolutely just the most brutal. That's just my opinion, though. I respect your opinion. I totally respect your opinion. that remake. I do too. I think the remake is pretty underrated. You know, a lot of people give it a lot of hate, but at least they didn't copy the original. Yes, there was a big coming out the new Friday the 13th. And yeah, they're actually. I was just actually just talking about the new TV series. Um, the 2020. It's going to be coming out in 2024. That's going to be a TV series. It's going to be like a prequel series, and it's going to be streaming on Peacock in 2024. So that's going to be pretty interesting. I can respect that. Yeah, like I said, I love both franchises, but I just think I don't know. I just think that Rob Zombie's Michael Myers is just really brutal, probably the most brutalist Michaels that we've had, that we've seen. Like, I mean, the guy is 6'9", almost 6'10". That's absolutely just gigantic. Like, you really need because oh yeah, yeah. Like I said, they're making that TV series that it's called Camp Crystal Lake. It's a prequel series, which should be very interesting. The Halloween's are yeah. Halloween Ends wasn't good. Halloween Ends was absolutely just terrible. It wasn't really even a Halloween film, to be honest. I'm excited for the new show. I am too. I'm very excited to see how it plays out because we haven't, like I said, we haven't even had a real film since 2009. Because of this lawsuit that's been going on. It's kind of unfortunate that we're not getting. I think that we will get a film in the future, but I think right now, I think they're just going to stick with the. They're going to stick, I think, with the TV series for right now, and then they'll probably make a movie. That's what I'm thinking, anyways. I don't mind it. I can do it for what it is. I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion, but for me, I just can't. I just can't watch it. I can't. I just don't like it. I don't like how Corey Cunningham was basically just thrown into the movie. No, no build up or nothing. Basically, Michael had a partner in the whole half of the movie. Like, that's probably my main problem with it, is that this Corey character just basically comes into the picture, no build up or anything, just thrown into the movie, and all of a sudden he's Michael's partner. All of a sudden, that makes no sense to me, anyways. I'm glad you enjoyed it, though. I'm glad you enjoyed it, but for me, I just can't, with that film. I think it's hands down one of the worst in the franchise. I got 6 for next time. Late. My fiance is very not good. I haven't taken care of it. Oh, how's it going, Scott Walker? How you doing, man? Thank you for popping in. I understand most people had a problem with it. Yeah, like I respect. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I'm totally glad that you enjoyed it. For me though, I just can't. I can't stand Corey. I'm sorry, I just can't. I can't stand that they had basically. They were basically Jason Blum was going back and forth saying that Michael was supernatural, and he kept going back and forth with it. It was like he couldn't make up his damn mind about it. Like, and on top of that, Michael had a partner. Like, that's a problem that I had because Michael never had a partner. He always did, the killings himself. And we never really got to see Michael in the movie. He was only in the movie like 10 minutes. So to me, you're better off just calling it Cunningham, you know, not Halloween. I did not like Halloween Kills Your Answer because Jamie Lee Curtis destroyed the Halloween movies full of it because she took over, rewrite the script, and she became director as she ruined the movies for me. Oh, well, I understand what you're saying. I didn't like End. I think Kills was pretty solid, but I do think Ends was I just hate Ends. I think Ends was a lot worse than Kills. I do enjoy Kills a lot more. I find it more entertaining than I do Ends. Like Ends is just not a it's just not a good trilogy. And with Jason Blum's track record, with Ends, him going to make, The Exorcist, which I've never been a fan of, you know, he's probably gonna ruin that film, to be honest. You know, probably gonna ruin The Exorcist because the way it ends, played out. Not me and my fiance has gone out there years. Oh, okay. Have you ever seen a movie called Better Watch Out? Yes. Yep. I've watched that before. Um, I think it's been a while, but yeah, I believe I watched it. Um, I think I did watch it. It did decide to bring Daniel Harris back to Halloween franchise to play Jamie Lloyd. Again, she can save the franchise and fix what Jamie Lee Curtis did if she. Yeah, absolutely. I've been wanting Daniel Harris to come back for a while now. I even wanted her to come back in Halloween Ends and even Kills. You know, but now given the fact that they're making another Halloween film probably in the future, which I do think they will, I think that they could bring her back, especially if they're going to be doing a sequel to Halloween 4. So I think that would be really cool to have her back. It's from 2016. Did you like it? I'm about to start watching it now. Oh, I think I watched it, but I'm not 100%. If it came out in 2016, I probably watched it, but probably don't remember. Um, but yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I watched it before. I think it's just been a while. It's been a little while. Hope one day all movie companies come together and make all slash movies. Yes, 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 yes. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, that's exactly what I want too. I want Michael. I want Jason. I want Freddy. I want Ghostface. Well, Ghostface will probably get destroyed because he's a real human. But Leatherface, Chucky, all in just one movie. Oh, dude. Oh yeah. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Yeah, I'm all for that. Just have all horror villains in just one movie. Hell yeah. Damn, Scott, you're really coming up with good ideas. I mean, I thought about that idea too, but man, that's a really good idea. Just have all slasher icons in one movie together and they just all fight each other. I mean, how cool would that be? Okay, I'll give it a try. Yeah, like I said, I don't really remember it, but yeah, I would still give it a try because I'm pretty sure it was a pretty good film. I think it's just been a while. I just don't really remember, you know? I love to see a Halloween screen cost of a movie. It would be very cool to see Ghostface, but still Michael Myers team up with Myers trying to sit in press. Do you think? What do you think about this? Oh, I've been wanting the Laurie Strode and Sydney to be in a movie together. I've been talking about that. Like I've been saying that it would be cool for like Sydney either to be in a Halloween film or Laurie to be in a Scream film. Like I always thought that would be pretty damn cool. I don't know about Ghostface being in a Halloween film though, because I think Ghostface would honestly get destroyed because he is a real human and he's not superhuman like Michael Myers is. But that would be cool. Maybe we got like a crossover in terms of like maybe Ghostface and Michael Myers both team up with each other. You know, they both do killings and not just, not just Michael, not just Michael or not just, Ghostface. No. That would be I think that would be pretty interesting. Actually, I think Laurie Strode was actually supposed to be or Jamie Lee was actually supposed to be in she was supposed to make an appearance, I guess, in Scream 3, but she did I guess she turned it down. She was supposed to be like in a cameo because the movie was in Hollywood. So, but that's a whole different thing because that's not really. I mean, that's basically her. She would have been in a Scream film, but I don't think she would have been involved. Which I think it would be cool if she was like involved. But I am about to wrap up the stream, y'all. Like I said, thank y'all for popping in and having fun. Hopefully, you guys had a lot of fun. Chatting. I had a lot of fun. Theorizing and all that. Um, but I am gonna be signing off here. Thank you, Mayan. I appreciate you. Thank you, Scott Walker. Thank you, DJ, and who else? I forget his name. Ali. Thank you guys for all the support. Um, Man, thank you, like I said, for the support. Thank you, Scott Walker. Thank you all. And um, I'll probably try to stream tomorrow, like I said. So be on the lookout for that, and also be on the lookout for my video about my Scream 6 DVD coming in. So I'll be doing like a video on that, just showing you guys, doing like an unboxing basically. So watch out, look out for that. With that being said, though, everybody, good night.